a serial killer, murdered my entire FBI team. He said I was too ordinary to die. The letter showed up this morning. No stamp, no return address, just a crisp white envelope tucked into the handle of my screen door. The paper inside felt too smooth, too perfect, and it smelled of ozone and something cloyingly sweet, like caramel left on the stove too long. I knew the handwriting before I saw the signature. I've been seeing it in my sleep for 15 years. I used to be a federal agent. Not the kind you see on TV, kicking down doors and saving the day. Most of my job was paperwork, surveillance, and the slow, grinding work of untangling criminal networks. I only ever hunted one monster. The press called him Mr. Sunshine. We just called him the fucker who wouldn't let us sleep. His calling card was poetic in the most nauseating way. Victims always found facing east, right as the dawn broke. The coroner said they all died just moments before sunrise, throats cut with a single surgical stroke. But it was the smiles that got into your head, not carved. Their own muscles, somehow spasming with such force that their lips tore at the corners, stretching their mouths into these nightmarish, ear-to-ear grins. We had witnesses, half a dozen of them over the first few months. But when we'd ask for a description, their eyes would glaze over. All they could remember was the light and the smile. Always the smile. No connection between the victims. A stockbroker in his high-rise, a homeless vet under a bridge, a college student walking home from the library. Random, pointless cruelty. And the bodies, they never stayed put. We'd secure a scene, postcards, and by midday, the body bag would just be empty. Vanished. My team got the case after the sixth body disappeared from a locked morgue. There was Casimir, our stoic rock. Cormac, who always had a rosary in his pocket. Lev, the youngest, still trying to prove himself. Anaya, sharp as a tack and tougher than any of us. And Dorian, my partner. We were the best. We thought it was enough. By the eighth victim, we were running on fumes and black coffee. A tip came in about an old shipyard warehouse down by the waterfront, abandoned for years. A transient reported seeing a man in a white suit coming and going. It was thin, but it was all we had. We geared up, the mood in the van heavy and silent. We were going to end this, one way or another. The moment we cut the bolt on the main door, we heard it. Laughter. Not loud, but echoing, like it was coming from every corner of the cavernous space at once. The lights inside were on, casting a sterile, buzzing glare that seemed too bright for the dusty air. Cormac checked the breaker box by the door. "Wires are cut," he whispered, his voice tight. "Power's been off for years." We moved in, fanning out, boots crunching on debris. We hadn't taken 10 steps when a high-pitched hum started, a sound that felt like it was vibrating inside my teeth. Then the lights blinked. Off, on. Less than a second. But the air changed. It felt emptier. I counted the footfalls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mine. Where was the fifth? I turned. Kaz was gone. No sound, no scuff marks, no blood. Just an empty space where a man had been standing a heartbeat ago. We went from professionals to scared children in an instant. Dorian was on the radio to HQ, his voice cracking. They told us to proceed with caution, to split up. Cormac and Lev would search the northern wing for Kaz. The rest of us would continue the sweep. A part of me screamed that it was a stupid fucking idea, but orders were orders. As they peeled off, the three of us pushed deeper. Or we tried to. Anaya stopped dead after a few minutes. She pointed a trembling finger back the way we came. "Ezra," she said, her voice a ghost. "Look." We were still standing maybe 15 feet from the entrance. We'd been walking for 5 minutes straight, but the massive, grime-caked doorway hadn't gotten any farther away. It was like we were walking on a treadmill. As the impossible reality of it settled in, Lev's voice crackled over the radio. "We found something. Looks like, what the hell?" The line went dead. The hum returned, louder this time. The lights blinked. Off. On. Dorian screamed Lev's name into his radio, raw and desperate. The only reply was a burst of static, followed by that same deranged, echoing laughter. Another blink. We did a head count without needing to, just the three of us. My stomach was a knot of ice. "Cormac," I yelled, my voice swallowed by the immense space. "Report nothing." The radio was dead air. Then a new voice giggled through the speaker, a child's voice. "All gone." That's when we broke. All our training, all our discipline, it just evaporated. We were screaming his name, Sunshine, cursing him, daring him to show his face. The laughter bounced around us, coming from everywhere and nowhere. We started shooting at the sounds, lead chewing through rusty catwalks and shattering high windows. The lights blinked twice, fast. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for the cold emptiness, for the end. But when I opened them, I was still there. The warehouse was the same. The oppressive light, the dust motes dancing in the air. But the silence, it was absolute. I didn't need to turn around. I could feel the absence of Dorian and Anaya like a physical amputation. I was alone. I don't know what pushed me forward. It wasn't courage. It was just inertia. Nothing left to do but walk. I put one foot in front of the other, my gun feeling like a child's toy in my hand. And this time, the impossible space let me go. I moved past the entrance, deeper into the warehouse, until I saw the catwalk high above. And on it, a figure. He wore a two-piece suit of the most brilliant white I've ever seen, a blood-red shirt, red gloves. His shoes were black patent leather, so shiny they looked wet. Pinned to his lapel was a small, ornate sunburst. His face was obscured by the glare of the lights above him, all except for his smile, wide, white, and perfect. I started up the metal stairs, my legs shaking. On the ground I said, my voice sounding pathetic, "Now." He just raised a red-gloved hand. The blinding light overhead dimmed, not to darkness, but to a soft, ethereal glow. And I saw what it had been hiding. I finally understood what the witnesses meant. It wasn't that they couldn't remember his face. It was that their minds refused to. Hanging in the air above him, woven into the very fabric of the light itself, were the victims. My team. The other 15. They weren't just suspended. They were part of it, their bodies stretched and distorted, like figures in some divine, horrific tapestry. Thin tendrils of light coiled around them, pulsing softly. He wasn't just keeping their bodies, he was keeping them. Feeding on them, like a spider draining a fly. And on every single face, that same horrifying, skin-tearing smile. Tears streamed from their vacant eyes, evaporating into the light before they could fall. A sound escaped my throat, something between a sob and a scream. I raised my pistol and emptied the clip into his white suit. The bullets hit. Dark red blossoms bloomed on the pristine fabric. He staggered, his perfect smile twitching into a grimace of annoyance. Then he was in front of me. No movement, no blur. He was just there. His gloved hand closed around my throat, lifting me off my feet. I clawed at his wrist, but it was like grabbing steel. Words echoed in my head, not spoken, but pushed there. "Not you. You're not ripe." He told me inside my own skull that my team was here for a reason, that they all had a darkness inside them he craved. Then he threw me. I fell from the catwalk, and the world went black as my legs shattered on the concrete floor. When I woke up, the warehouse was dark and silent. The lights were off. He was gone. They were all gone. The radio on my chest was screaming. HQ, demanding a report. I couldn't give them one. How do you explain that? I was cleared, of course. No evidence. Just 5 missing agents and a broken man. I resigned the day my leg healed. For 15 years, I've been haunted by his words. I've searched for answers in dusty occult books and forgotten lore. What pain did my team have that I didn't? What made them ripe for his harvest? And now, this letter. My dearest Ezra, I do hope this finds you well. Our last encounter was so terribly rushed, I feel we never got to properly connect. I'm sure you've wondered why I let you live. The truth is, you were a disappointment. A healthy crop with one blighted stalk. Your team, my lovely little sunbeams, they were bursting with flavor. Did Cormac ever tell you about the guilt he carried? Watching his little brother get swept away in the river after a stupid argument, his own 6-year-old hands too small to hold on. Or Anaya, the way she still heard the screen door slam the night she shot her own father, mistaking him for a burglar in a drunken stupor. And dear Dorian, he only looked away for 10 seconds. That's all it took for his son to vanish in a crowded supermarket. The others were all so similar. Such exquisite anguish. But you were so terribly plain. A dead parent here, a bad breakup there. The shallow sorrows of a simple man. But I saw potential, so I planted a seed. Me. I've been living in your head ever since, haven't I? You don't smile because you see my grin in the mirror. You don't go out because you know I'm out there. I must admit, you did surprise me. Pulling the trigger. That showed spirit. Perhaps the seed has finally borne fruit. The anniversary is approaching. Why don't we have a reunion? Same time, same place. You can say no, of course. But wouldn't you like to see them again? Maybe this time you'll be ripe enough. Maybe you can even make me bleed again. One never knows until one tries. Warmest regards, Mr. S. My service pistol has been sitting on the coffee table for hours. Next to it are 3 full magazines, the letter, and a faded photograph of my team, all of them smiling. Real smiles. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to burn the letter, move away, and forget. But the other part, the agent, wants to finish the job. If I hurt him once, I can do it again. Right? A few minutes ago, something made the decision for me. An old evidence radio I kept from the case, its battery dead for a decade, crackled to life on my bookshelf. And from its speaker, I heard them. Anaya, Cormac, Dorian, Lev, Kaz, all of them laughing, and his laughter woven in between theirs,